Hi everyone, this is Rabbi Johnny Kirsch. Welcome to Scotch and Why. It all started back in my native Scotland, where I used to frequent a wonderful licensed establishment whose name I never bothered to find out, where Scotland's elixir of life and loud, unintelligible ranting would be flowing at plenty. Well, the more I drank, the more questions I'd ask myself. And the more questions I'd ask myself, the more I realised how little I knew about life. Whilst Campbell and Angus, two senior philosophy fellows at the University of Life, both upstanding, actually the majority of the time they were stooped over the bar, however comprehensive and unintelligible their answers were, I would always find myself arriving at the same conclusion. Something was missing, aside from Campbell's two front teeth. And it's answers to those questions, my friends, that I'd like to share with you. So welcome to Scotch and Why. Why pray? When we think of the word prayer, we usually think of an endless litany of requests. Heal me, enlighten me, enrich me, forgive me, and so on. And it's true that classical Jewish prayer is phrased in the form of request. If you look at the formal prayers, you'll see a whole shopping list of requests, and those things are to improve our quality of life. So why, when we pray, do we usually feel like we walk away empty-handed? Isn't it like a gumball machine? You put the quarter in, turn the knob, and the gumball rolls out onto your hand? No? I mean, for most of us, we don't ask him to drop a Lamborghini out of the sky, but even the more modest requests that we make, often we feel like we walk away empty-handed. And while it's true that parents can say no, and do, and with good reason, it's too close to dinner time, it costs too much, it's not good for you. But come on, we're talking about God. He's the ultimate loving Father, whom at his disposal has unlimited means and power to give us exactly our heart's desire. Is the machine faulty? I want my money back. And so we have a bit of a problem here, because if prayer is about asking for our needs, then surely God, who is the ultimate loving Father, who knows his children best, knows exactly what we need before we even ask for it, and will surely give us everything available to ensure our success in life. So why bother praying? If he already knows what we need to succeed, surely he'll give it to us without us asking. And on the flip side, if something is bad for us, then no matter how much we grovel and tantrum or perform or whatever for it, he's not going to give it to us. So how can we conceive of changing his mind? Besides, how can you even change God's mind? Does God have a mind? If a father sees his son walking around barefoot, what loving father is not going to go out immediately and buy his child a pair of properly fitting shoes? And on the flip side, what mother is going to be walking down the road with her 4-year-old child? The child sees a jagged piece of green glass on the, from a broken bottle, wants to pick it up because he looks through it and sees how the world looks all green and cool. No matter how much tantruming and performing the child's going to do, it's not going to change her mind. So it's the same thing with God. If it's good for us, surely he'll give it to us without us asking. And if it's bad for us, doesn't matter how much asking we do, it's not going to change his mind. Okay, so here's the big paradigm shift of an answer. When you pray, you're not attempting to change God's mind at all. That would be ridiculous. When you pray, you're attempting to change yourself. Let me explain. The word for prayer in Hebrew is a word called tefillah, which doesn't mean to ask or to request. What it means, the root of it, means to clarify, to decide, to judge. See, prayer is an introspective process where you do some self-appraisal with God. You create your own little corner of truth and fasten yourself to the bonds that tie you to the purpose of life. So let's say you ask for wealth and you don't find yourself any richer. Well, it could be because right now God doesn't want to give it to you because you're not the kind of person that can use it responsibly. And if he gives you that money, you'll soon become self-reliant. Your relationship with God will just worsen. And it will be a barrier to that relationship. But he badly wants to. He really wants to give you the wealth. Prayer is basically an exercise where God's your personal trainer to help you get a correct perspective on wealth, a true perception of what it means and how to use it correctly. And to be able to turn yourself into someone for whom wealth would be good for. At that point, he'll give you the wealth. Let me give you an analogy. A father has a mountain bike for his son. Beautiful mountain bike. But he's got it locked up in the basement right now because he really wants to give it as much as he does want to give it to the son. The son is a bit obnoxious and forward, and really, it wouldn't be good for him to give it because really this kid just thinks he deserves everything that he gets. And he takes his father for granted and so on. And to give him the bike would not do the kid any good. One day the kid comes in and says, "Dad, you know, I've been thinking, everything I get from you, it makes me appreciate you even more. And I wouldn't be anywhere without you. I'm nowhere without you. I'm only here because of you." At that point, of course, you can resuscitate the father. And at that point, the father, with tears in his eyes, will go downstairs to that basement, take the bike out and give it to his son. Has the son changed the father's mind? No. The father always wanted to give the son the bike, but the son wasn't ready for it. He wasn't mature enough. And as soon as he became mature enough, the father, no questions asked, take the bike out and give it to him. And so it's the same thing with God. But of course, God's a father who knows what you mean. You can't stand there, make a nice, slick, polished presentation and be lying through your teeth. You can't fool him. But this is the idea of being able to work with God, use prayer as a vehicle to be able to change your inner being to the point of someone whom is worthy of God's blessings. And that, my friends, is why we pray.